I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world.
I've largely put in this video. This is in regarding me and my situation, or anything to do with conspiracies. But just to make sure this word is put out there, so there's no censorship or editing, and it's in regards of two ladies in this town, that I initially came across, and basically I've discovered with decent reason, that they're basically victims of prostitution, or basically either way, maybe even domestic abuse. So what I'll do is I'll leave this out there to make sure that this gets known and heard of, and so it gets looked into on the basis that which I'll keep as brief as possible. When I started suspecting these things, through using my skills, analysis of behaviour, etc., senses, I showed my concerns to the local police, and there was a lot of mess ups with them, looking into that. I mean, the first time, basically, I reported it, chased it up and stuff like that, to discover, that it wasn't on the records from the first time, showing my concerns. I did a little bit of research from what I had of information and that, from certain people that heard things off without them realising. And, basically I did, what you would call a private investigation through that, which I put together. And, I sent to the police themselves and that, to look into. Now, the way I see it, it's not been sorted out, whether it has or not. I want to make sure this is out there, my senses never lie. And, even if it wasn't to be true, I've got nothing to lose in this. So, first of all, I'll start off with these two ladies' names. I remember Lady Inga Ilisova, or Inga. There's two reasons why names are, her surnames are different. And looking at the basis of, ladies in certain parts of Europe are basically illegally trafficked, to countries like this, or anywhere, even countries anywhere across Europe, by pimps, prostitution rings and that, to be sold. For that, there's lots of different ways. So, based on that, that's what I saw. Also this lady, she had 3 different locations. That's just part of it. First it was Latvia, Lithuania, and now it's, I'm more down that she's from Russia. Just from seeing on one of her profiles, she's wearing, a Russian hat, which ladies wear in Russia themselves, and Moscow. I discovered a lot of weird things, to do with her and her friend, and why their names have changed, and that's just part of it. I'll keep it as brief as possible, but how I went down this lane of discovering what I suspected, their behaviour after I spoke to them before they suddenly were scared. As soon as I mentioned, talking about the stuff that I believe they were victims of it, I saw Inga and her friend Maria. Her friend Maria looked very distressed and scared, as if she'd been, and Inga had been threatened with some kind of violence or anything, not to speak to me, for the fact that these people obviously suspected, or even knew, as that I had concerns about this. So, I want to make sure, that they're saved. I mean, I've got an email with what I put together on my phone, with what I researched. I put that together, from things I put together, and put it to the police. As I said, there was that thing that the last time they phoned me, and they gave me a report on it, respectfully, in a way they said that she said she's okay, she's safe, and she doesn't need anything taken care of. But the thing must realise is the police, that anyone, whether it's domestic violence or prostitution, those ladies will be threatened, based on that they're physically and sexually abused. Obviously, whoever's abusing them, the police you're gonna come up to those ladies, ask them if, whatever's going on, when they're that terrified for these violent acts towards them, they're going to be too terrified in the first place to even say anything because, their lives are in danger. So, I want to make sure this is out there and, put out there so everyone knows. It's like, when I thought, I suspected she was from Lithuania, I did put on a Lithuanian forum, a word out on there, whether that was actually put on there or not, I'm not sure. Or, because of the basis of my laptop being hacked as it seems, that it might have been blocked, like the redirectory software that's been installed on there to Facebook and that. So, I want to make sure this is put out there. I can't remember her friend's, Maria's second name. But then again, her friend Maria has a name something like Christina, Facebook name. And what I discovered through there, actually the hyperlinks in their profiles, is where, I came across Inga's other profile on VK, because in that hyperlink, it didn't say Ingu, it said, I can't even say it now. But what I put across out there, that I really did put things together, because basically, when I suspected especially that they were victims of prostitution, physical, sexual abuse, that showed more concerns. And if you know me, I'm in love with this lady, which I won't go into. And so, I suppose it gave me more drive into looking into it. But yeah, there's a lot of bad things going on, what it seems to be. And, I want to make sure, that everyone knows this. Because, as I said, it's a letdown, when you depend on the police, as the people that do that job. And, they make so many cock-ups and that. And, they don't seem to show any concern. And so, the only way to save these ladies from, which I see as a very serious concern, as any of their family would, if they have any family out there, that they would themselves and any other humane person. So, I'll put it all up on the video so everyone can see, because at the end of the day, what I've discovered, which you see on the video, even more to explain, there's not a lot of right things about it, based on, what I believe is like pimps and stuff, stuff like that. The reason that they look terrified, after these pimps, what I suspect are, knew that I was basically trying to help her and her friend, that basically they looked terrified to speak to me when I walked past them in the street. Whatever it is, they need help, and therefore, I'll put this video out there and make sure that, anyone out there can help them, and we'll go from there. And, hopefully this will be the only way I can save them. If I can't depend on those people, I wanted to help them both. So, cheers.
Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
I was...
Look again. Freeze it. Trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to. You won't have to. You won't.
This is it? Let me give you one piece of advice. Be honest. He knows more than you can imagine.
At last. Welcome. I imagine that right now you're feeling you have the look of a man who accepts what he sees because he is expecting to wake up. Ironically, this is not far from the truth. Do you believe in fate? Why not?
Because I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life.
I know exactly what you mean. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is... Do you know what I'm talking about? You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. That you are a slave like everyone else. You were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. Unfortunately, no one can be told. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
There's something weird about it. And why Rhea Keen's name is on it. And, right, my friend, how you doing? Don't worry, I'm not filming you, brother. It's cool, dude. So, you know, because you know this place where, you know, where I said where I believe Inga is and that much she's going through. You know, if you look at it, it has this Rhea Keen thing on it. And you know, I don't know what the involvement is. But as I said, you know, all that crazy ass stuff, what's going on in the world, you know, it's insane, isn't it? Really insane, my friend. But yeah, you know, that isn't right, is it? Because you know, more to the point, and as I said, the police involvement, you know, which has been shit, you know, and helping this lady. Why the fuck, you know, ironically, you know, this house where Inga was, where I said, you know, what I suspected, and that, you know, that all of a sudden, you know, this Rhea Keen sign has been put on that building. So, you know, there's something going on there, isn't there? And this is why I'm trying to find out what the fuck's going on. Because, you know, Inga, she's a human being, goddammit. Her life has values, just remember that. She's a human being, and like I said, she means a lot to me, and I believe, you know, she is a victim of human trafficking, you know, that she's probably got family somewhere, you know, miss her, and so she means a lot to some people, more than not others see her as. So, you know, hopefully we can find the bottom to this, and you know, the involvement of this lady called Rhea Keen, and why, you know, all of a sudden, you know, that basically on this house 18 Wood Street, which I reported to the police about me suspecting that she's a victim of prostitution along with her friend Maria, and you know that the police have been there and stuff, and now all of a sudden, you know, on this house, you know, and where, you know, there's a Ria Keane sign on the side, and you know, as I said, 77 Rockingham Road, Kettering is that building that I believe that she's in at the moment. If she's still there, I'm not sure. As I said, the man Raphael was talking about moving to Northampton, but you know, which I found out his involvement. Basically, he is one of those pimps and that, you know, so he's either moved there to Northampton or she's still in that premises in 77 Rockingham Road. You know, I'm trying to find out all this information, and you know, I've actually privately investigated this myself, near enough to the point, you know, for information, using my skills, and where the local police has done shit all about it.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here